K-Man's Hit Music Leaders, Z99. It's XS on the Wednesday Hump Day Drive, hanging out with my good friend Martin Van Zyl. How's it going, brother?
All good, all good.
All right, the reason I had Martin come in is because yesterday, see, our friend Billy Corduroy, he's leaving Island on Friday. So yesterday, we had a little boys' dinner and a sort of an outing. Now, at dinner, there's various conversations that take place. Some usual, some unusual when you have a bunch of guys sitting there. But yesterday, we had a very interesting story from Martin because he had a very interesting altercation or confrontation, if you will, with a Ching. And it was one of the funniest stories I ever heard. So I asked Martin to come in and tell the story. In case it happens to others, they will now know how to respond if they feel threatened by the existence or presence of a Ching. So why don't you tell me how it all started?
Well, a few days ago, about a week ago, I live on the third floor of my complex, and I've got a palm tree that reaches up just above my front door, and this Ching and its family decided to make a nest with their kids or whatever.
Now, those of you that are new to the island don't know what a Ching is. It's a little aggressive black bird that's sort of native to Cayman, right? All right, continue.
So every day, like clockwork, I leave the house for work, and this Ching would just fly into my face. Like if I'm...
And he just didn't like what you look like?
At any angle, this thing would just come bolt straight for my face. And every time I come home, same thing. It would literally just sit there waiting for me. It's obviously threatened by its nesting now in its new home right across from my front door. But every day, it's just flying into my face at any given time. And a couple of days ago, I was actually walking out with a full glass of liquid, call it that. And this Ching flew straight into my head. I dropped it everywhere, spilt it all over myself, and that was it. I declared war on the thing. And so I ran it by a few friends that I was going to plan to make it disappear.
Hang on. Hang on. You asked some friends about making a Ching disappear.
Yeah, I needed some support. I didn't know if it was the right thing to do.
You had a moral conflict?
Yeah, I did. I wasn't sure if there's a law against it or what do other people do, I believe these things are quite a pest. But I decided to speak to the bird. I stopped one day. It was there all puffed up. And I said to it, I'm going to give you one more day. And if you do not stop flying into my face, into my head, it's going to be the end of your entire family's life.
So you went out and you had a conversation with a bird.
I did.
This reminds me of the Seinfeld episode when Kramer had a conversation with the monkey who whipped the banana at him. You remember that?
I remember something like that, yeah.
So you went out and you had this conversation. Now, what did you say to the bird?
I was very serious. I looked it straight in its little bird eyes, and I said that I was going to end its life. And I think it heard me because it kept puffing up every time as in it didn't like what I was saying, but it understood that
puffing its chest out?
Yeah, it knew that it wasn't good news.
All right, so tell me what happens. You have this conversation with the bird, and now you call it a night. You go, you know what, you got a day to vacate.
That's it.
Okay, so you call it a night, and you decide to go to bed. Now, what I want to know is, what was the plan? Like, how are you going to end this Ching's life? Had you thought about this? Like, how are you going to do it? What was the plan?
I wasn't that sure. I thought I would get a couple of stones and I would just, come under a little disguise and try to throw it. But I didn't know how successful they would have been. So I've been asking around for like those illegal catties. If anyone
like
has
a slingshot.
Yeah. And then someone told me those things are illegal as well. So I'm like, oh. All right, I don't know. I was going to need to get creative.
Choke it to death?
Yeah, right.
All right, so you wake up in the morning. So now you decided, I'm going to go to bed. I'm going to call it a night. It's got a night to just get out of here. You wake up in the morning. Now tell me what's going through your head as you wake up.
I wake up, my normal routine, I'm doing my thing, I'm getting ready for work, and it's in the back of my mind that I'm going to go, that today's the day, that I'm going to go out that door, and if that thing flies into my face one more time after we had this discussion, that I was going to end it. One way or another, that day was going to be dedicated, today actually, it was going to be dedicated to one of us remaining in that on that property. And
okay, so now it's hanging out outside your porch?
Yeah, well, third floor, so in a tree right across from my front door. As I walk out, the tree's right in front of my door.
I gotcha. Okay, so now all the anticipation's building. You've gotten your routines out of the way, and you make this approach now to the door. Now, are you nervous? Are you scared?
A little bit of both. I mean, I was going to be forced to do something that I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to do, but it needed to be done. So
we're talking about a Ching, right?
I'm about Ching like I'm about beer pong. I take everything very seriously.
Very seriously.
Clearly.
All right. So now you make your approach to the door.
Stealth, yes.
And tell me what happens.
I open the door. I kind of just a smidge. I kind of peek out, and as I open the door, I'm ready. The anticipation is built up.
And what happens?
It's gone.